Every time I do a piece with faux wood grain on top, I get a lot of questions about how you do it. I made a video previously, but this one's a little more clear and a little more up close and personal. So the things you're going to need to do a faux wood grain. You're going to need a mister bottle. This is a fine mist bottle, and this is to keep your paint activated. I use Dixie Belle chalk paint, so it's water activated. And then I have a brush for each color. These are Paint Pixie brushes. I have 4 colors, 4 brushes. And then I have 2 natural bristle flat brushes. These are also by Paint Pixie, called the Dusty and the Little D, and that's to move your paint around. You're gonna mist your surface that's already been painted one color, and you're gonna start adding your colors in streaks. This is not gonna make any sense. You're just gonna randomly put them on there, and you're not gonna be too precise about it. Just wherever you feel like putting that color, you paint a stripe. I'm gonna speed it up to show you the whole process, and it's really easy. You just go through all 4 of your colors. And again, you're being totally random here. Once you have all of your colors down and they're just in random streaks, you're gonna re-wet the paint a little bit with your mister bottle just so it will move for you, and you're gonna start running those colors together. You're just gonna go back and forth, not blending them, but getting them to cover your surface. Making sure that you don't run them too much together, because this gives you that varied look underneath your wood grain. Now again, we're not going to be precise with this. We're just going to kind of mix it in, because you're really not going to see it once you get that wood grain on. You're just going to see the varied tones in your wood. You're going to let that completely dry, and then I like to give a coat of flat clear coat in between before we put the faux wood grain on. It kind of gives you a little bit of flexibility of moving the next step around, which is going to be glaze and paint, to make your wood grain with the tool. So this gives you like a little bit better of a surface for movement of the paint in the next step. Again, once your sealer is completely dry, you're going to take your wood graining tool. These are ones that I found on Amazon. I have a couple different sizes. You'll see why in a second. Just a plain brush. I have a mixing glaze. This one's made by Paint Pixie, but there's other clear glazes out there. You're going to add some paint to it. So I want my wood grain on here to be white, but again, if you wanted brown, you could use just a brown glaze or a gray glaze. But since I don't have a white glaze, I'm taking a mixing glaze and adding some white paint to it. What the glaze does is it's a little more fluid than paint. It kind of gives you a flexibility to move that paint around with that wood graining tool. When you're ready, again, mist your top. You're going to have this a little bit wet for that glaze and paint to move around on, and we're just going to paint a thin coat across the entire surface, just going one way. It doesn't have to look perfect. You don't have to worry about if there's overlapping lines or spots that are a little bit thin. You just want to get the whole top covered. Now this time we're not going to let it dry. We're actually going to mist it again to keep that glaze and paint activated. We're going to take our wood graining tool, put it down, and start dragging it and rocking it back and forth. This creates a wood grain. The longer you leave it in one spot, the longer grain you get. You're going to turn it around and run it the other way, back and forth, until you go across your whole tabletop. Last, you're going to seal it with whatever kind of sealer you want. I put a sealer by Dixie Belle Paint Company called Gator High, because I wanted a really tough finish. Now I'm going to go through just a couple other wood grains I have done before in the past, and all the different colors I've used. Thanks so much for watching this video, and be sure to subscribe to see future videos. I appreciate you all.